Hi. Hi, and welcome to Gen Friends. Tonight, we are going to be talking about episode 5 of Relative Race, which airs on BYUtv.org on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So, this week we had the red team in California, in Eureka. We had the blue team in North Carolina, in Cherokee, North Carolina. We had the black team in Elko, Nevada, and we had the green team in Alabama. And so they were starting out and were meeting their relatives, and Troy was coming off of a very sad meeting of his relatives, finding out that his father had died and had to go on and move on the next day. I don't know how they do that. You guys have any ideas how they move on the next day when they've met their relatives? I just don't even.
It's got to be so hard.
It's got to be.
You got to wake up and say, "I don't want to leave."
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Now they did say that they were giving them more time. We just don't see that. They're giving them a little bit more time to spend with them, but I can't even imagine, especially when you've met those that have met like their fathers or the aunt or whomever it might be, or to find out something so sad and then just to have to get in game mode. But the red team did. And did you catch their nickname they had for their team?
I love Nitro, yeah.
Nitro combination of their names, Nicole and Troy. I love that. That was so funny. Yeah. And then it went right along with their night, their theme they had, and their challenge and all that. So that was really great. That was really good. Is there a team that anybody wants to jump in and talk about and their experience?
I thought it was interesting. Team Black that had the GPS benefit from last week. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because you don't know what you're going to get, when you pick what prize you're going to get and how useful it was going to be, and that they really thought that it saved them time. Mm-hmm. And obviously it did. And to have them win that. But, I was trying to think, because some of them are very urban. Mm-hmm. And some of them are really rural. Okay, so where would the GPS be better? Because exactly. The way Seattle is laid out in a grid, if you got the address, you pretty much know where you're going.
Right.
But, so it's just kind of interesting, and the whole strategy thing. But boy, that Team Black definitely has a streak of luck in terms of winning.
Yes, they absolutely do. They absolutely do. I thought it was funny when Team Blue set out, they decided they were going to kind of trash talk and talk about each team. And they were kind of mad. They were kind of hating a little bit on Team Black, and used a Star Wars reference, with them. One was the Empire and one was the Rebels. So, And then he said Team Green, that's a Team Love. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That was funny.
It was funny. And then they said he said that Team Red were just really nice people. So I just thought it was funny how they were talking about the teams. And then Team Black text, because I could text each other this time, sent a text, or was it the other way around, to Team Red. And they told him to, maybe it was the other way, and told him to enjoy their red to black. Yeah. Red to black, and said to, enjoy that GPS challenge. And they hope the battery went out in it before they could use it. That's what they said. So it was all done in love.
Yeah. I love that they're actually bonding between the team. Yeah. Like you can see when those biological connections are being made, the other teams are feeling the feelings that the others are feeling as they are meeting these things. They know that this is just because of the race. We wouldn't have been able to do this, and how amazing. And it's okay that I got the strike because he met dad, or she met the aunt, or whatever. Yeah.
I'm loving seeing that this year. I'm really loving seeing that. And Dan's emotion too, as he talks to him, I think it's wonderful. Then a Team Blue just gets me, guys. Team Blue. Team Blue. Well, they got to go to Pumpkin Town, South Carolina, and I had all these. Do you know where Pumpkin Town, South Carolina? I said no, but I'm putting that on my bucket list. Found out it's just north of Greenville, South Carolina. But they were complaining, why do we have to keep going out in the country everywhere? Why do we keep getting?
That's where your people are from.
That's where your people are from. Well, everybody else is going to big cities. They're going to Pumpkin Town, South Carolina.
I can relate though, because if I was doing this and it was my mom's line, oh my God, I'd be wrapping around West Virginia left and right.
I wouldn't leave South Carolina. Y'all have seen my charts. I'd be right here. I'd just be going all the way around and around in circles all in South Carolina. So they can only send you where your people are from. So he's just going to have to get over it.
Yeah. So do you think Team Blue has learned after this week, like, listen to the kid?
Oh my gosh.
Or talk about it, make a decision together?
Exactly. And stop yelling at him about just driving, figure out what you're supposed to be doing together. When he knows something about a challenge, listen to him, because you know what? They wouldn't have come in. They would have come in so much faster. They wouldn't have gotten that strike had they listened to Dylan and opened that daggum pumpkin with the camera in it. And that would have been the first one. They would have been done. But I thought it was really funny when they chose to go to the fire station. And it wasn't even on the map, on the fire station maps. And he's like, are we going out in the country again? When he went to find his people, the photographer. But then they had to call the captain, and the captain told him where to go. That was hysterical. But talk to me about who he met, who his relative was. Do you guys remember who his relative is?
It was.
It's a cousin. It was his cousin.
On his dad's side.
That had been adopted as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And he was also a photographer.
Yeah. Talk about those connections.
The connections are amazing this year. Just amazing. And it just blew them all away. But I thought, go ahead.
Do you ever sit back and look at your tree? So this is kind of left. So my first full-time adult job was working in the paper industry for a company that made boxes.
Mm-hmm.
My
Dunder Mifflin.
What's that?
Dunder Mifflin.
No. But my grandfather, his father, and his father all worked in the paper industry. Wow. I did not know that until I started doing genealogy maybe 10 years later.
Wow.
So you see these things and it's like, wow, like what?
Yes, exactly. And once again, the green team, they ended up with a relative that was musical, and they were able to sing with her. Mm-hmm. I cracked up though when they said, we keep running into white relatives. It was hysterical. It was so funny. I mean,
it was only the second one.
I know, but it was just so funny. It just made me laugh. And what else made me laugh about them is when they decided to go to the fire station as well. And Jamie, being the single one, was saying there was a whole lot of handsomeness going on.
I love that.
She couldn't focus on the map, and their maps were in binders. And they had to go through the maps, but there was some handsomeness going on. She says.
Amen.
And Morgan goes, yeah, for the unattached one, So
they were pretty buff too, man.
Yeah, there were firefighters.
Yeah.
What do you expect? So that was hysterical. But yeah, once again, to find musical relatives for them it's just amazing how that worked out. Just amazing.
So we see something that definitely intertwines with our DNA. It has to be, because why else does it continue to call?
It's true. It's got to be. Some of it is probably environmental, and we learn these things, from them. I have ancestors on both sides of my tree who took in children.
Oh, really?
And y'all know I have. And so as I found them, it's just been amazing to learn. So both sides, my mom and my dad's side, have had people that have taken in children. So it is amazing when you find those connections. It's absolutely amazing.
And it makes you feel attached to them too.
Yeah.
You have these common things.
Yeah.
There was an interesting, different show, but on Finding Your Roots a few years ago, LL Cool J's mom did not even know that she'd been adopted, and she was raised by preachers, but she loved boxing. And where does that come from? And her dad was a boxer. So, it's the blood memory that it's in there.
Exactly. So what did you guys think of the first challenge? That first challenge was like the lockbox, and they had to look through the book.
I liked it. I've been wanting to do an escape room, so I was excited to see how they were going to play it out on a table.
On a table. Mm-hmm.
And I love that. Who was the team that they were like?
The green team did once they figured it out
because they were young, right? If they know the person's game now, the escape.
Yes, that very well could be it. But they all fell for the red herring clues to begin with. They all fell for it, and it took them a while to figure out that the clues were in the book. Yeah, the clues were in the book. So
one of them just dismissed the book. It's like, oh, we didn't need this, and kind of set it aside. I forget which team that was.
Yeah.
Well, now it makes me know, like, I really, really want to go and do this. I have a niece who wants to do it, but it's kind of expensive here in Chicago. So,
okay.
And you do it by group.
Oh, I don't know that we've got anything here in
this much.
Little town I live in. I don't think we've got anything around here. I don't think so. But yeah, that looked really fun. Yeah. And my son that was watching was really into that, going, no. And trying to explain. He was trying to explain to them what they were supposed to be doing. Like they could hear him.
He said, I hear you, honey.
And so from there, then they had to go do their second challenge, which has something to do with what their relatives are interested in, their hobbies or their profession. So red team
nailed it.
That was so funny. He was on that. Troy knows his superhero.
But it was funny. Did you hear him? He said, I never read comic books.
But he watched
the movies. Yeah.
The movie. So they sped through that one, kind of made up for the one last week where they couldn't do the pool tables. The pool. So oh my gosh. And then they gave
the gift that they gave them that
was cool.
Of them as comic book heroes. That was so cool.
And he says that looks just like us, and this is what we're going to look like when we get our $50,000 check when we win. So that was really, really funny. And then poor green team, they had me cracking up. Apparently, they've never taken an anatomy class.
That was funny.
Oh gosh, they didn't know where anything was. I figured they were going to come in last because they didn't know where anything was.
Yeah, the scapula. The scapula.
That was really funny. But you know what? I wonder if the stress does that to you, though. I'm sure that knowing you're being timed, I'll bet your brain just leaves you. I mean, my brain leaves me all the time, so I can relate, but but I can imagine just knowing that you're on the clock like that and it's ticking and you've got to hurry, that things that you normally would just be able to do quickly just go right out the window. Yeah. We'll think that about them because they've got to know where your vertebrae is, where your femur is,
So the arm, the leg.
So biology class couldn't have been that long ago.
It could. That's right. That's exactly right. It could not have been that long ago. And then the black team had to go tell the jokes.
Oh my God, they were so corny.
Cornier than a corn dog. Is what she said. Rebecca said, cornier than a corn dog.
But it was cute to find out that the relative actually wrote the jokes for them.
And had a comedy routine.
Right. Yeah. And to get to see that.
Our little skit was cute.
It was really cute. Yeah, it was really, really cute.
I liked family members.
We collect families. We collect family members. I think the funniest joke they were trying to tell on the street was the one about urgent care. I stayed in urgent care for so long that now they call it, when they say, I don't care, or... No, that was really funny. I thought I would have laughed, for that one, but...
Well, and they eventually learned how to kind of milk the joke so they could tell that
to
joke.
Get that punch right.
Get the laugh.
Yes. Yeah. That was too funny. And it was nice that Jonathan finally got to meet a family member. So it's always nice when you're a team and somebody else on the team.
We're kind of wondering, is it going to be just her this whole
time?
Because the story was so sad. Did they gear it towards just her?
Right.
So it was good to see him have a connection.
And I'm wondering, was that connection a Troy connection? Because they haven't told us where they're connected that I can remember. So was this a connection that Troy could have had as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, and geographically, where they're getting at, California. I mean, I grew up in California, and I'm.
He may be your cousin.
I know.
Mary's like, wait a minute. These are my cousins. Okay, so did we get through? Oh, and we talked a little bit about the pumpkin challenge for the blue team having to get that pumpkin, but I did laugh when the blue team did say, oh my gosh, we're out in the middle of nowhere again, and they pulled up to that humongous house. It was huge. Like, yeah, quit complaining that your relatives are out in the country. What about Troy's information that he received?
That was really interesting that he met his cousins and they told him that his grandmother had given his dad up, and that none of the family knew that the grandma had a child.
Yeah.
So, did they say that? Did they say that because of the race, that's how they knew about him? Is that how they found it out?
Or DNA, whatever.
Yeah, DNA. That's the way that's the way they made it sound. Was they had no idea
the race because they did the DNA for the race.
Yeah. So
that is interesting. It'll be exciting to see how it plays out because the clip for next week is whoever he's meeting is very integral to his family.
Yeah,
it looks like it's going to be a box of tissue night.
It does. I was kind of glad for a not box of tissue night and a little bit more laughter and fun things going on because, man, after last week, I needed to recover.
Absolutely. It's been a packed first half of the season. So the first 4 episodes were all emotional, like kept all of us tied to our seats and what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So a lighthearted, fun week was due.
It was because we're not always going to find those emotional stories. We've got to realize that sometimes it's just fun to meet people just because they're our relatives.
You ever wonder what this is me. Do you ever wonder what happens when they show up at the house and the families just don't click?
Yeah, I wonder.
Sometimes it's kind of a little awkward.
Yeah.
And you just kind of got to wonder, like, oh, didn't know? Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they didn't quite click. Sometimes it does kind of feel like that. It just kind of feel a little standoffish, but that's got to be weird though to have. And it's a TV show. And you've got
my relative. Can we take a picture?
Yeah, and you've got cameras in your house and things that you're not used to, and so I think it's such an odd situation that it may be different. Had the cameras not been there and had they met naturally.
And by day 5, you're probably not really sleeping because it's a different place and a different bed every night, and you're not eating
in strangers' houses.
Yeah,
in strangers' houses. Absolutely. But hey, nobody's had to sleep outside so far. Only the RV, but they loved it. So
it was a bucket list item.
It was a bucket list, so nobody's had to do anything crazy. So let's talk about what happened with the time at the end and who got the strike, who won, and what happened with that. Anybody want to?
Well, I think it was very smart for the black team to hold their game day incentive to the very end because you never know what you're going to get. Is it a city? Are you going to be able to find your way around? So smart. And then he went ahead and wrote down the directions. Like it wasn't like take me there. He went through it, wrote it down so they had it.
Yeah,
exactly. So if you're not remembering, anybody listening, they won the GPS challenge from the day before. So they were allowed to use 5 minutes of GPS time somewhere on the race on day 5. So they did.
And I wonder, will it be the beginning or will it be the end? Because I was like, use it at the end. Use it at the end.
Yeah, they were smart. They were listening to you. They were smart, and they did. And because of that, wouldn't you know, they came in first place again.
And they could have been 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
They said it saved them.
They said basically it saved them.
Exactly. So I can't believe they keep coming in. This is the first season where the same team keeps coming in.
Yeah.
They've only missed first one day.
One time.
The green team got it then.
Exactly. And so they got to choose whether they're going to get the day 10 advantage or they got to decide whether they were going to, they don't have to do the first challenge next time.
Right.
So of course they chose the challenge because they've already got 2 days.
They don't know what they are.
Incentives. And what happens if they aren't all that great? I mean,
right, exactly.
Yeah, because last year, the team that got that fuzzy dice, it did them no good. And so
it was nothing.
This could be a red herring again. It could be, it means nothing, and you should have chosen the other ones.
Right.
So I think they were smart. I think they were smart to do that. And the team that came in last was, who got the strike? The blue team.
They're 2 strikes now, and everybody else has 1.
Right. They have 1. And really, I just think it's because they're not listening to each other. They're
not working together.
And do you think it's because it's a parent-child team, or
I think communication is probably an issue for them all the time. That's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
And as a parent, it's okay because we do have children that we have that issue with.
Mm-hmm.
But if he would have listened.
Yeah. And this is not the first time. If he would have just listened, he would have.
And he's even teaching his son how to be the photography business.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's really, I mean, since that kid was born, has taught him. and so he knows more.
Yeah.
And he's just not taking what the son says.
And it's very possible that that's what this is all about. It's just old habits are hard to break when you're used to that type of relationship. That's got to be hard.
Mm-hmm. And it's not like it's a spousal thing where you're continuously working on communication skills.
Mm-hmm.
Parent-child, there's no communication. You listen.
You listen. You do what daddy says. I'm the daddy. You do what I tell you to do.
No matter how old you are, you listen.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It makes sense, but it's hard. And you just want to see him listen and be like, look, your kid's not that stupid.
Yeah.
He's making sense. Like,
he's a grown man. Yeah.
Let him be the grown man.
Exactly. Listen to him. So hopefully next week, I hope they don't. I don't want anybody to get a strike. I mean, somebody is going to, and somebody's going to go home. So I was going to show y'all that I've got my bling, and they're in no particular order because I can't decide who I'm having a hard time. I like them all.
I will say this: during the race, blue team aggravates me because there's no communication and they don't listen to each other. But once they get to their relatives, he's so sweet and so kind.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I like them.
Yeah. And the green team are just so much fun, and they're singing. I love their singing, and they're and how they just embrace whoever it is they're meeting and just love on them, and so they're all. And then of course, black and red. Their stories. You don't want them to go because you want to see what else they're going to find out. Mm-hmm. So, and I want to see it on camera. So I don't want to be thinking they got a strike and they got their packet and they're meeting these people on their own time. I want to know because they don't tell us afterwards. They need to do that. That's another thing we need. We need a reunion so we know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And we need them to post an update. This is who else they met, and maybe a few pictures here and there if they'll do it, if they'll agree to do it. So, yeah. And I wonder how bad the relatives feel when that crew doesn't come to their house because they're all telling everybody we're going to be on TV.
There was one of my Facebook friends last year was in the lineup for Joe's family. They got pushed because he met his dad. Mm-hmm. Or because they lost after.
Yeah. They got the 3 strikes. Yeah.
She had posted on the Relative Race page. She's like, I was one of your cousins you were supposed to meet. And it's okay that we didn't meet because I'm so happy to see your story.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah. That's so sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I like that. But yeah, I would really like to know how it turned out, who they met and why they met them and how it turned out. So Relative Race, if you're listening, if you are watching us, we have requests for you. We want more. So,
but other things, I really love so they're not doing so much driving. I mean, when you think of that first season where they had to get, from Los Angeles to New York, or what was that?
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be 3,500 miles or 4,000 miles in 10 days. You're talking about 400-mile days.
Right.
And nobody wants to do that. So
they were so aggravated with each other.
They are so good.
Yeah.
And they were peeing in the car, so.
Yeah, exactly. They were wearing diapers in the car, and they were arguing. It was like everybody was just arguing because they were so tired. And so as the seasons have progressed, the show's gotten better and better.
Good changes.
Yes, really good changes. I love that they can text each other and build that communication. And I love that they talk to each other at the end and can, help each other. Hey, you did a great job. We're rooting for you next week, which the black team always says to the red team. They were so happy that they didn't get a strike. And then if you watch their vlogs that they do, which they post on the Relative Race page on byutv.org. You can see a little bit of other things that happen, and they'll talk about the day, and they'll kind of talk about how they feel about the other team. So I would encourage everybody to go and watch those, because that really kind of gives you a little bit more insight as to what is going on. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So those are really fun. Well, next week we'll get to day 6, and also starting Sunday, April 8th, is Long Lost. Is it Long Lost Family or Long Lost Relative? I always say it wrong.
Long Lost Family.
Long Lost Family. I always want to say Long Lost Relative for some reason. So, but that's on PBS. Is that right?
No, the Learning Channel.
The Learning Channel. Oh my goodness. See, I tell these guys, back me up because I'm going to say something wrong. That's right. TLC. It's on TLC. So look at it. It starts April 8th, right? I'm correct with that? It starts April 8th. I believe so. Sunday, April 8th on TLC. So look at your TV guide, see what time it's on in your area, because we will be adding that to our lineup as well and talking about the things that go on Long Lost Family. So I encourage you to watch that and watch day 6. And we will be here and we will be discussing it on Gen Friends. We're so glad that you took some time to listen to us talk about Genealogy TV. And I want to thank Mary and I want to thank Terry for being with us tonight. Sure appreciated it. And we will see you next time for another episode of Gen Friends. Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye.
Night.